My name's Evan from the Lonely Stone podcast, and today I'm just making a little side quest about my football team finally winning a trophy. Tottenham Hotspur finally won a trophy, the Europa League, first trophy in 17 years. I was 7 years old the last time Tottenham won a trophy. I just about remember us winning that Carling Cup under One Day Ramos. And all these years later, big 2025, we've won a European trophy. I'm not here to shit on other clubs or shit on other fans. That's not really what I do. I'm here to talk about football and the logistics of the business of football. So starting off first, I'll talk a little bit about the game itself. It wasn't the most exciting game. It's a pretty awful game to watch. We played not how Ange typically plays. So how Ange would typically play is have his team extremely high pressing, chasing after the ball non-stop, and essentially like going forward as soon as we get the ball. And we didn't play that way in this match. The way we played was we played a very physical midfield because we didn't have Bergvall, who is a very physical player, but he's very young and inexperienced. So we didn't have him. We didn't have Maddison. And there might have been one other lad that I can't remember, but we were playing Sarr, Bissouma and Bentancur, some very, very physical midfielders. And I believe Man United were playing Mount, Ugarte and Bruno. And Bruno is like essentially like a false nine, or he's not there for defensive duties. So the midfield battle was ours. And we were just bullying them in the midfield pretty much. Sitting in, just looking to nick a goal, which is what we did. You know, the first half was a bit more back and forth with us having some attacks and Man United having some attacks, and we got a goal at, just before the second half. I think it was the 41st minute. Brendan Johnson. I've watched the goal back loads of times. In my opinion, it looks like an own goal, but they're giving it to Johnson. And then we came out on the second half, and we essentially had no intention of attacking. Tottenham had no intention of going forward or getting another goal. What we were going to do was just completely sit back, absorb all of Man United's pressure with our midfield in the block, forcing them out wide and crossing it in. Van de Ven and Romero and other guys just headering it out constantly. We knew that for them to score, it was going to take like a bit of stroke of luck or stroke of brilliance, which at this point Man United just don't have. And the second half was essentially just Man United playing in our third. The whole second half, I would say 75% of the second half was played in our third. And then in about 20-25 minutes to go, we brought on Danso, went to 5 defenders, and we completely locked off the game. There were chances. Van de Ven had a goal line clearance. Chances for Man United. Van de Ven cleared it off the line. I think there was a header. But Vicario made some good saves as well. Vicario was very solid in this game. But I thought the lads, they all performed how they needed to. They played. This was the first match I've watched this season. And bear in mind, I've been to about 4 or 5 games this season. Physically been to 4 or 5 games this season. And I've watched a fair amount of the others. I'm sure you can't blame me for not watching loads of the games, because 22 losses in the league is horrendous. First ever team in a 38 game top flight season to lose that many games and not get relegated. So that tells you how bad of a domestic season it was. But when it comes down to it, you're in a final and it's one game. You don't need to play better than the team. You don't need to have more chances, and you just need that stroke of luck, which is what we had. We got the goal. We sat back, we defended our lead, and we won it. And again, the players, they played for it. You know, I think when it comes down to it, you know, they think it's one game. You know, although the consistency throughout the season has been horrible. I mean, we finished 17th, which is crazy. They thought, okay, let's just win this. Let's go mega passionate. Everyone's going mega passionate for this game. And, you know, they did it. And my prediction was for us to lose, because logically, I was thinking we should definitely beat them. We've beaten them 3 times already. They're just as bad as us. and if not worse, because they don't have they don't have any sort of identity. So I'm going into this game thinking, yeah, it's just going to be like Tottenham to not win this game, and that was my prediction for Tottenham to lose. But that being said, they did it. The fans deserve this big time, because we've been here through thick and thin. We haven't been like the Arsenal fans where the banners and the revolting, and even though at times that might have been appropriate, it's not happened. The fans have backed the club, and I think the show out at the parade really tells you all you need to know about how much the fans support, and even the game itself, how much it shows how much the fans really are behind the club. And the Man United fans, I think they're a bit tired now. They've had their worst season ever, and it seems like every single season they keep having their worst season. What I would say is, it can't get worse, can it? It can. It definitely can for Man United. It can get worse for us as well. But with that being said, I'm not really here to talk about Man United so much. I'm more here to talk about Tottenham and their achievement. Ange, with one of the greatest quotes in football history. Jose's got a lot of great quotes. Fergie's got some. But that one right there, yeah, it's legendary. He'll correct himself. He doesn't usually win trophies in his second season. He always wins things in his second season, which it's just legendary. Regardless of, we might be sitting here in October and he's been sacked. That's a definite possibility, but he's secured his legacy for this club already. So fuck it. Like, there you go. He secured his legacy, and I think that's what his goal was coming to Tottenham. If I can win a trophy with them, I won't be forgotten and I'll go down. Because the Nunos and the Contes, they're going to be, people are going to forget that they managed Tottenham in the future. Not so much Jose, because Jose is blockbuster, and you're not going to forget about anything he does, especially in the Premier League. But Ange he could have come in, been sacked, forgotten about, and disappeared into nothingness. But he's a winner. He came in, he won, and that's what the club needed to win a trophy. And he's achieved what a lot of people thought wasn't possible. And I also want to say, very happy for Son Heung-min, because him more than anybody at the club deserved this. He's been loyal. He's stuck it through. He's not made any fuss ever about wanting to leave. A lot of people compare the Trent situation to Kane. In my opinion, it's very different, because we held Kane back for a while, and we trapped him in for years, and he never won anything. But Trent's won everything with Liverpool, so he has no real reason to leave other than, I just feel like I want to play for Real Madrid. Whereas Kane is leaving for the betterment of his legacy and career. But Son never made a fuss, even at the peak of his powers, which he is past it now. But even at the peak of his powers, Golden Boot, him and Kane playing off each other, the best duo in Premier League history. I'm so happy for him, and you can see the reaction online from all the other fans. As much as they might not like that Tottenham have won this, everybody is happy for Son, because he's one of the most likable players in football history. But if you're asking my personal feelings, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I haven't seen my club win a trophy since I was 7 years old. I'm very happy, and I finally have something to be happy about when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. For me, I'm not one to be super excited about finishing in the top four, playing attractive football. That stuff should be like the bonus. You should, as a quote unquote big club, you should be focusing on winning stuff, even if it is cups, and then getting top four and playing attractive football should be secondary, in my opinion. Obviously, from a business perspective, getting top four is a primary objective, especially for a club like Tottenham. But I would say, adversely, a club like Tottenham should be going for trophies, because it's what they've been lacking. And in my opinion, we should keep this mentality. And if we're going to keep Ange, which it looks like we are, they need to back him 100%. Because the reason why our season has been so bad is because he's not been backed 100%. We went into this season, in my opinion, the board thinking they could potentially sack Ange halfway through the season. I think they saw it as a possibility, so they didn't fully back him, because in their mind they're thinking, why fully back Ange when he might be gone in a few months? Now after this, they need to fully back. We've got money from the Champions League now. We're one of the most profitable clubs, if not the most profitable club in world football. Let Ange bring in two big name players, big money players, whoever he wants, and then a couple other squad players, and also let him get rid of the players that he doesn't want, because there's definitely players in this squad that need to go. You know, as much as I respect Richarlison's hustle in that final, Richarlison is a guy that needs to go. Who else would I say needs to go? You know what? Like, thinking about it, a lot of our players are very useful players, but you can't back every player when we finish 17th. You know, like we finished 17th, and I can't look at every player and go, he's good, but we finished 17th. I think this might sound crazy, but I'd look to flip Solanke straight away. I think Solanke, if he is a good player, he doesn't work for us. He's like a hold-up striker. He's not got much pace. He's physical hold-up, which is what he did well in the final, to be honest. A guy like him, I'd look to flip. I'd potentially look at flipping a Bentancur, a Romero. You know, I rate these players, but I think if you can get some decent cash for them, especially after this Europa League win. A Maddison, I'd look to flip a Maddison. You know, he's so inconsistent in the way he plays and the game and the amount of games he plays as well. So if we're going to keep Ange, we need to fully commit to him, otherwise he will be gone before the end of the year. And so I'll end on Ange here. You know, throughout the season, all my family's Tottenham fans. So I'm hearing constant complaints about Ange. He's our worst manager ever, lowest points per game ever. You know, throwing all these statistics at me. My simple answer was, if you're going to say you're going to sack Ange, you need to give me a name to replace him with, and they couldn't give me no names. And if they could give me a name, then it was a manager that would have no reason to join Tottenham. Like at the time, Iraola, when Bournemouth were doing well, I would say, why would Iraola want to join Tottenham unless it's just purely for money? And if a manager's joining purely for money, then I don't want that manager in the first place. So really, unless you can give me a name to replace him with, it's pointless. And again, even looking at the manager landscape now, you're not going to get much better than Ange, and at least he has an identity as well. Like a guy like Ten Hag, his identity is just buying former Ajax players, and now Amram, who's replaced him, doesn't have an identity. And I think he won as many games as Ten Hag did this season, which is wild. So to leave it on Ange there, just keep him and commit to him. You know, you have to back him now. If you're going to keep him, you know, don't keep him and think in your head, oh, he might be gone by December, so let's not fully commit to him. No, you have to fully commit to him now. You know, even if we're flirting with mid-table relegation, just commit to him, because the last thing we need now is another reset after this sort of, you know, success, if you want to call it that, finish 17th. But yeah, just back Ange, give him the keys, because I think he's gained so much aura from this, and I think that the players were probably not rating him and down in tools before, but after winning this Europa League, I feel like they might actually play for him now. So I'll leave it there. I'm not necessarily Ange in, but I'm definitely not Ange out. I'll leave it at that. I've been Evan from Lonely Stoner Podcast. Peace.